Hi everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. The next page in our taco manual takes us to Calabacitas a la Mexicana. It's a zucchini dish with corn, poblanos, tomatoes, some cream. It's a classic dish from central Mexico where it goes by a whole host of names that usually includes calabacitas, which is this zucchini-like summer squash, but it could be called with elotes, with corn, or with poblanos or with cream. But a la Mexicana is what I prefer because it always says a combination of all those classic ingredients. Now, we have to first talk about calabacitas themselves because, yeah, we translate it as zucchini, but it's very unlike the zucchini from Italy. The zucchini from Italy that is very dark green on the outside is very durable, and it's a little watery and quite bitter, whereas this calabacitas, often going by the name of tatume squash, is very, it's a sort of dense, it's sweet, it's just like everything that you really want to like about a zucchini, but oftentimes isn't there. There is another version of it that you see all over Mexico too, which is the round variety of it. We've grown this before, and we got seeds from southern France called rondanis, and that you can do that if you want to, but you can go to your Mexican grocery store and find this kind of calabacitas all the time. Now, the first thing that I have to do is to cut up all of this stuff. So I'm going to cut up my calabacitas. I'm going to chop up the garlic and the onion and the tomatoes. I'm going to take the kernels off of the corn and roast and peel the poblano. Okay, got all of the chopping tasks done, and now I've got my big skillet over medium-high heat here, and I have filmed the bottom of it with some olive oil. You could use vegetable oil for this. I like the flavor of olive oil in it, and a lot of people would just take all this stuff and put it in a pan and let it cook together. But just like making that classic dish ratatouille from southern France, if you saute everything separately, the flavor is so much better, especially if you saute the zucchini carefully and get a little golden brown on it. It just enriches this dish so much more. So I'm going to put all of this into the pan, and we'll cook it for 3 or 4 minutes, turning it up pretty regularly until it's nicely browned on the outside. Okay, these are looking and smelling really, really delicious. Getting that brown on them like that really does sweeten them up a lot. So I really recommend that you don't skip this step at all. Now, once I've gotten these out of the pan, and you'll notice that I'm tipping off as much fat as possible back into the pan, so that we've got something to cook our next vegetables in. So the next thing that's going to go in here will be if I can get all these zucchinis out of here. The last 3 or 4 don't seem to want to come very well. Okay, we'll spread those out. Now, I forgot to do this, but I should have done it actually before they went into the pan. But I need to season them, season the zucchini nicely with some salt. So I'm doing it after they've been browned. Their onion goes into the pan. I'm going to stir the onion for just a few minutes until it softens and starts to brown. That will take 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. Now, while the onion is softening there, I'm going to blend these tomatoes. You can use fresh tomatoes like I am here, or you can use canned tomatoes for this. There's not a ton of difference. I just happen to have these beautiful ones from the farmer's market. And you put them into a blender jar and then blend it smooth. Okay, we've got browned onions there, and the garlic will go in now. We always put the garlic in when the onions are ready because the garlic can burn really fast. We want to soften the garlic, just soften it. That's all we're doing here, and you can smell when that happens. It usually in a pan hot like this will take about 30 seconds or so. I'm really getting it now. I say that you can smell when the garlic is ready, and if you let it go too long, it definitely will burn and become bitter in the sauce. A little roasted poblano chopped up going in there. We'll scoop in now this corn. And of course, we've got the tomatoes that we did our puree out of. And that'll come in, and then we'll cook all of that down. So tomatoes now into the pan. And because this is a wide pan that I'm working with, my favorite thing is to cook in a 12-inch cast iron skillet, and that's what I have here. But it won't take very long for this to reduce to the consistency of, I think it best described as sort of almost tomato paste. That's where we want to get it to. All right, that looks really good. You see how beautifully reduced this is? Now we're going to put the crema in here. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just think it makes it a better dish. And calabacitas a la crema sometimes is the name of this dish. You can add as much or as little as you like. I tend to go at about 1/2 cup of it in here, which is about what that is right there. But again, that's up to your own taste. Now I'm going to stir it in to dissolve, or melt, I should say, that cream into this base mixture here. And then our calabacitas are going to go back in here, like that. And we want to have this base mixture thick enough to coat the calabacitas. That won't take us very many minutes here at all. In fact, it's almost to that stage right now. Okay, I just turned this off here. We've got to season it. You could put in here epazote if you have it. It should really go in with the tomato mixture. What I'm going to do is to take I have some beautiful epazote right here, which is a more pungent flavor, but I also have cilantro, and you could put a little bit of chopped cilantro in at this point now. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of it into fine, as we would call in a professional kitchen, a chiffonade. So I'm going to cut that like that, and then put that over there. Scoop this in here as our herbal garnish. And boy, this looks good. It's got a great consistency. It will hold together. Now, this is the kind of dish that you would find offered in the places that do tacos de guisados. So any kind of cooked down mixture like that is called a guisado in Mexico, and there are special taquerias that just focus on tacos de guisados. And so this is that. It's a classic dish, especially in central Mexico, for that kind of taco. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you put the whole thing together. I kind of have a theme going here. I've got this beautiful cobalt blue plate that I just love, but I also have blue corn tortillas to go on top of it. So you will see here, they're very hot. You will see that the color of the blue is so much more sort of gray blue because that's what the color of blue corn tortillas is. Now I need to season this mixture here. So I'm going to sprinkle salt over the top of it. Remember, we did salt the Calabacitas part of this already, but everything else has been going in here unseasoned. So we'll toss that together and then give it a little taste. One little bit more salt sprinkled over the top of it, and we're ready to plate this now. I'm going to take some of this mixture out of here. That little bit of cream is just so good in this. It just adds that little bit of richness to this all vegetable taco with all these indigenous ingredients from Mexico, the calabacitas, the tomatoes, the corn. It's all native to Mexico. I always like this to be served with a little bit of queso fresco, Mexican, that really milky, fresh cheese to go on the top of it there. And I will tell you, I could say this is a super healthy taco, but I'm not going to because it's also one of my favorite, most delicious tacos.